So I wanted to talk about a hand that's not necessarily like a new hand, but it is a new way of doing a hand that is introduced in Chun Kyu. And that is the multiple palm strikes that come after that jip sao. So that jip sao comes out and we do this guy here, and then this hand flips around, and then all of a sudden we're throwing these palm strikes like this. Now, why are we doing that? What's up with that? So here, we'll talk about it a little bit. So, you know, we have those chain punches at the end of Siwan Tao. And we talked about how chain punches are kind of like the standard thing that we like doing for various reasons. Well, one of the reasons why I think, I don't know, I'm not in the head of the guy that invented Chun Kyu, but this is what I see in the technique and kind of what I feel. One of the things that I see is that, for one thing, we're doing that chain blow motion with something other than a punch. And so to a new student, I'm thinking, you know, a new student sees that chain punch and they go, oh yeah, we can hit people a bunch really, really fast and it does a thing. And then when you show them this, they go, oh, I can hit people other ways besides my fist in that same kind of motion. Which is good, because we do want to get in the habit as you advance to stop relying so much on punches, because punches are a relatively risky thing to throw in a fight. You have a wrist here that can bend, you have a lot of little knuckles here, you're putting your hand out there, and it's a lot more risky than, say, a palm strike or a ridge hand strike. And so we do want to get in the habit of being able to throw those techniques in the same way that we would do a chain punch. And so, you know, doing this in that fashion is one of the reasons why we would practice it that way. Another thing that occurs to me is that because Chun Kyu is called sinking bridge, there's a good portion of Chun Kyu that's focused on making and reacting to and keeping bridge. And so you see this, you see these instances throughout the form where our hands are touching one another. And this is one of them. You'll notice that when these hands go out, when a lot of styles do this, a lot of lineages, you'll see that the hands kind of touch. We slide one hand down the other as we're throwing these out. And part of the reason for that is we are training our brains to seek bridge. We're training our brains to feel that thing, that human thing that we're sliding on, and we want to go, oh yeah, I want to go up the arm. Because if we go up the arm, there's always going to be a neck at the end of that. There's always going to be a head at the end of that. Same thing, arguably, like if we go to the chest. If we go up, there's always going to be a chin there. There's always going to be a neck there. Hitting the lower body, you know, there's always going to be one of these there. And so we want to get in the habit of like feeling that thing and kind of getting a sense for what's beyond it, or getting a sense of going up it. And so doing this kind of gives us that sense of following along bridge and then striking something. And so that's one of the other good things. Now, this is just me, this next thing, and this may not at all be what was on the mind of the person doing it. But when I see that, I also think of a tiger claw. Now, what's a tiger claw? A tiger claw is a palm strike that stays. So, you know, usually when we do a palm strike and then we bring it back. It's just like a punch. Bam, 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 bam. When you do a tiger claw is a little different, because we do strike with the palm, but after we do that, we apply a little pressure. We want to keep that bridge. We want to maintain that contact with the target, and then we let our fingers seek something. Either we are gripping into some soft tissue, like around here, we're trying to get up underneath some muscle or in between some tendons, or we're trying to get into one of the face holes and kind of, you know, make somebody a human bowling ball. And that's kind of the mentality behind that. But it's a very good hand for self-defense, because it strikes, it controls, and it enables us to do something that's incredibly painful, which, you know, is what comes after when those fingers actually find something to seek into. And kind of the way that I use that hand is that I don't bother looking for what I'm going to do. I just kind of go, let my fingers feel around for the softest thing, or the thing that feels like I could pull on it, and then I just pull on it, or I push my fingers into it, and that's how I do it. But one of the reasons that I see that tiger claw here in this is because we are throwing these palm strikes out and then withdrawing them while we throw another one. And if you could imagine, say, like going in and getting somebody in the gut or getting somebody under the arm, and then, you know, having that strike go down and then pulling, you know, in with that tiger claw, and then throwing another one out and then another one out, and just kind of not only overwhelming somebody with blows, but also overwhelming somebody with this thing that's kind of gripping on their body and kind of controlling them, while causing them severe pain and injury, which is one of the reasons that I really like Tiger Claw. Tiger Claw is a great hand for amateurs. Like if you have like a partner who you're training, like Tiger Claw is one of the first things that I will show somebody, because if you can get a hand free and you can drive that hand into somebody's face, that is going to be a hand that is disabling. Because if you can get that into an eye, if you can get that up into somebody's throat, like it's just devastating the amount of damage that you can do very quickly with just your fingers. Just a matter of, like, you know, getting them in there, and that Tiger Claw strike is a really great way of getting them in there. So that's kind of my explanation for these chain palm strikes. In some cases, honestly, you'll even see somebody kind of lead with the fingers in some cases, and that kind of is one of the things that makes me wonder if maybe that was supposed to be kind of a Tiger Claw kind of strike, is thinking, you know, kind of with those fingers. Because sometimes with a Tiger Claw, you will kind of let the fingers kind of relax and just kind of pop in there with the, and be kind of leading with the fingers. But anyway, you know, you can kind of see how the mechanics of that work. But yeah, that's the chain palm strike section of Chun Kyu.